Hi, my name is Brandy Minkillo. I'm a realtor with RE/MAX Southern Shores, and today I'm here with my great friend and local lender with Guild Mortgage, Erica Davis. Hey, Erica.
Hey, Brandy, thanks for having me today.
No problem, glad to have you. So today I want to talk to you about something that's super important to all buyers out there that I don't really think they have a good grasp on. I get a lot of questions about credit and why credit is important when they're considering buying a home. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, absolutely. So yes, credit is super, super important. It can range from 450 on a very low end all the way to an 850, which is the creme de la creme of credit scores. And depending on where you fall on that spectrum, it can affect a whole lot. It can affect interest rate, it can affect buying power, or just your ability to buy a house at all.
Awesome. So you mentioned buying power, and sometimes I feel like as realtors, as lenders, we use words that maybe the common buyer is not going to understand. Talk to
Sure.
us a little bit about buying power and how that credit score specifically impacts buying power.
Sure. So first we'll start kind of basic. So if you have really under a 620 credit score, that can affect your ability to purchase,
Period.
at all.
Right.
There are some programs that you can buy with as little as a 580 credit score. But again, you're going to have stricter guidelines and it may affect your ability to buy. Moving on from a 620 or higher, you're going to have what we call pricing add-ons. So your interest rate will be higher if you're at the lower end of the spectrum, the credit spectrum. If you have a 740 or higher, your interest rate is going to be the lowest. So you're going to have the prime interest rate, the best interest rate you can possibly have.
So with the same amount of income, depending on your credit score, it may allow you to qualify for more home
Right.
based on the expenses that you'll save. Having that lower credit score generates more expenses. Having a higher credit score obviously yields less expenses, allowing
That's
you to
right.
have a higher buying power.
Right, because it can affect your monthly payment. So if you've got, let's say, the same exact person as far as income and monthly debts, but you've got somebody with a 620 and then a 740 credit score. That 620 buyer could be, could even be up a half a point higher interest rate than your 740 buyer. Therefore, your payment's gonna increase, and therefore that will decrease the amount of home you can afford.
Right, I understand. So Erica, I have a question for you that I think applies to every buyer that's out there. What are some simple ways that they can increase their credit score to increase that buying power?
That's a great question. So I'm gonna give you an answer that may be surprising.
Okay, awesome.
Don't be afraid to actually increase your credit card limit. I know it sounds like against the grain, but it can actually help, and let me explain why. So you want to have your balance, your credit card balance, to be no more than, let's say, 30% of your available balance.
Okay.
And anything below that will actually increase your credit score. If you get to above 50% or more of that available balance, that's when the scales tip and it can hurt your credit score versus help.
So let's just put it in really simplistic terms.
Okay.
Let's say you have a credit card and it has a $1,000 spending limit on it and you owe $600. You're
Yes.
utilizing 60% of your credit score. So if I'm understanding you correctly, you're saying, hey, call up your credit card company, say to your credit card company, I've always paid my bills on time, month after month. Would you be willing to increase my credit card limit to $2,000?
Yes.
Now with that same $600 balance, you're not utilizing anywhere near that 60%, and that's going to help you increase your buying power?
You got it. And it could be, big time increase in points. It's a very simple approach, but it does work.
Awesome. Well, that's a really interesting tactic that I think a lot of people might be willing to try. So now what if you don't have any credit established? Let's say you're a big fan of Dave Ramsey and you've always paid for everything in cash and you don't have any debt and you have a great job, but you call up a lender and your lender can't find a credit score for you. What's
Sure.
a simple way to build credit quickly?
Yeah, that's a hard one too. It's because you want to reward those clients, but it just unfortunately doesn't work that way.
Right.
But ideally, you want to have at least 3 sources of credit.
Okay.
And depending on, your age and different factors, if you're in a long-time relationship or, even if you're a young person, and your parents are willing to help, you can become an authorized user on an account to get an immediate boost.
Okay.
Or you can just take out 3 sources of credit. And again, it goes back to making sure that you're not spending more than 30% of that available balance. So you can go get a gas card, go ahead, charge a tank of gas, but wait till that billing cycle comes out and then pay it off in full.
Okay.
Because you need to have that activity on there.
Fantastic. So a gas card is a great one, and also making sure that if you have a parent or if you're in a long-term relationship, you can add yourself onto someone else's account and generate your credit that way. Well, Erica, I think you've done a great job educating us about credit. Are there any other things that you think are pertinent for buyers to know about their credit?
No, just make sure you absolutely protect it. You need to stay on top of it and be responsible with your credit. Make sure just the simple tips. Make sure everything is paid on time. Those late payments can just kill you. If you have gotten yourself into some debt, start with the revolving debt first, those credit cards, and pay them off first instead of an installment loan. And pick one card and really focus on that one card until you're, again, at least under 50% of that available balance, ideally 30%, and then move on to the next card.
Well, thank you so much for your time today, Erica.
Sure.
If you guys are looking at potentially purchasing a home, Erica is always willing to field your personal questions. Feel free to reach out to her or I to help you with any of your buying needs. Bye now.